all the keys to success that you've mentioned are important. But there was a study at Harvard University that set out to find the star performers, not just in business, but in sport, art, and science as well. Dr. Albert Rottenberg, which I always think is an unfortunate name for somebody studying human potential, but Rottenberg checked temperament, personality, IQ, race, culture, inheritance, you name it, he checked it. The only factor that he could find present in the top performers in all these diverse fields was motivation. Okay, what is motivation? Dictionary definition. Motivation is an emotion that produces action. Right? At the end of the day, it's all about what we do. Now, emotion comes from the Latin meaning to move. So if you've got no emotion, you've got no motion. You're not going anywhere. Now, I'm sometimes called a motivational speaker. I don't like that term very much because motivation is a bit like a hot bath. It goes cold quickly. The key really is self-motivation. Are you able to motivate yourself when you're not feeling so motivated? Human beings are motivated by one of only two things. There are only one of two reasons that you are sitting in this room right now rather than hanging out in the bar outside. There's only one of two reasons that human beings buy from you, marry you, connect with you. There's only one of two reasons that human beings do anything, and that is pain and pleasure. We're motivated to reduce pain. We're motivated to increase pleasure. And so if there's anything that you want to do in your life, and let's face it, most of the time we know what we need to do. It's not rocket science, is it? Losing weight, exercise more, eat more healthily, create wealth, get out of debt, spend less. I mean, we know this stuff, right? But why are we not doing it? Because we're not motivated, because we're focusing on the immediate pleasure that comes when you sit in front of the TV with a bag of chips instead of going to the gym, or the immediate pleasure that comes when you overspend instead of getting out of debt and saving, rather than the long-term pleasure, yeah? We're the buy now, pay later generation. Actually, it should be the buy now, worry later generation, because actually later is when we feel the pain. So we defer pain. And this, research shows, is one of the fundamental keys to success is future orientation. The ability to focus on long-term pleasure, to delay immediate gratification, to put aside short-term pleasure so that you can get the long-term gain. And so if you ever want to do something that you know you need to do and you're not feeling motivated, focus on the long-term pleasure rather than the immediate pleasure. And here's a beautiful thing that happens. How many of you in this room exercise regularly? Put up your hands. Wonderful. And I can see it. So how many of you who exercise regularly, is that the best part of your day? Keep your hands up. Virtually all of you, and you understand that your colleagues are looking at you and going, are you into sadomasochism? That's the best part of your day? Because here's the little secret about all of this. When you get into a positive, healthy habit, you start to get intrinsic pleasure from it. Psychologists tell us that it takes about 30 days for an act to become a habit. For 30 days, it's going to be uncomfortable. For 30 days, it's going to be a little painful. But instead of narrow framing, focusing just on the pain, go with broad framing where you focus on the pleasure that will come, because it will come. And in fact, exercise, depressed people who get into a regular exercise program reduce their depression almost as effectively as those who go to psychotherapy, because exercise boosts serotonin. Rats who exercise on a treadmill for 90 minutes double their serotonin level. Don't ask me how they got rats to exercise on a treadmill. Maybe they put on a Jane Fonda video. But the point is that exercise is a very powerful way to boost your emotional state. That's why people with goals tend to be a lot more successful, because they have that pleasure that they're focusing on, that they're moving towards. Zig Ziglar said, the elevator to the top is out of order. The stairway is always open. But if you're going to take those stairs, you need to know where those stairs are taking you, so that you are motivated by that pleasurable future. Now, when I talk about pain and pleasure, you might think, oh, it sounds a little superficial, pain, pleasure. But hey, Mother Teresa and all that great work that she did, hey, it's a form of pleasure. When you alleviate somebody's suffering, when you create something wonderful for the world, when you're out there giving of yourself, that's all pleasurable. So there's different kinds of pleasure. Pleasure isn't just sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Pleasure, in fact, the deeper pleasure is what really motivates us. Look, anything that you want to do right now, and the action that you know you need to take to get there. If God came out of the heavens and said, if you don't do this, you will die, do you think you would take some action? You bet, right? Because you'd be seriously motivated. You would have a reason. You would have the avoidance of pain, by the way, which is also a very powerful motivator. A friend of mine's father was a 40-a-day cigarette smoker, tried everything, hypnosis, the patch, the pill, whatever it was, he tried it. One day he gave up smoking. He never knew that day would be the day, but boy, did he give up. He never picked it up again. What happened? He had a heart attack. Sitting in hospital with machines plugged into him was painful. His mortality was painful. The thought of losing 8 years of his life and not having that extra time with his children, that was painful. He didn't have to go to hypnosis, to the patch. He was motivated. And so if you want to motivate yourself, you need to ask yourself, what is the pain that is going to come if I do not take action, and what is the pleasure that will come if I do? Write it down, laminate it, remind yourself every single day, program yourself. Viktor Frankl, the great Holocaust survivor, said, he who has a why to live can bear almost any what. What is your why? Why are you doing what you're doing? What is it that you stand to gain? What is it that you stand to lose if you don't? When you are clear about your reasons, you will be self-motivated.